Hey, if you're an educator, I bet you know this feeling. You've got piles of homework to grade, and you're left with that nagging question: is this actually making a difference? Well, today, we're going to dive into a playbook designed to turn homework from a chore into a really powerful teaching tool.
Does this look familiar? I mean, you spend hours with a pen in hand, but all that effort just doesn't seem to translate into real student progress. It's a super common frustration, believe me, but today, we're going to tackle it head-on.
So before we jump into all the how-tos, let's just take a quick step back and remember why we even assign homework in the first place. You know, when we're buried in grading, it can be really easy to lose sight of its core purpose. But when it's done right, it's absolutely an essential part of learning.
And here's the breakdown of why it's so valuable.
Homework is so much more than just repetition. It's the space where students get to actually practice what they learned in class, where they start to build that sense of responsibility, and where they develop the crucial skill of thinking and problem solving on their own. And this right here, this is the absolute key. The magic isn't really in the homework itself. Nope, it's in the purpose behind the assignment and the feedback that comes after. If you can get these two things right, believe me, the entire dynamic just changes. So let's build on that. We'll start with the very foundation, the assignment. This is your playbook for creating homework that students will actually see the value in. Just look at this comparison. It's night and day, right? On the left, that vague instruction is just a recipe for confusion. But on the right, the instructions are specific, they're tied directly to the lesson, and they set a really clear expectation. That tiny shift in how you phrase it makes a massive, massive difference.
Okay, think of these as your golden rules. First, make it meaningful. Ditch the busy work and focus on quality, not quantity. Second, always connect it to that day's lesson. Homework is not the time to introduce brand new concepts. And finally, when you can, differentiate. Tailor the tasks to meet your students where they are.
And hey, let's not forget about time. Overwhelming our students is just completely counterproductive. Following guidelines like these helps keep the workload manageable, so it actually supports learning without causing burnout for the students or, let's be honest, their families. Okay, so you've assigned the perfect piece of homework. Awesome. Now what? Let's move on to the other half of this puzzle, creating a feedback loop that actually drives improvement without draining all of your time and energy.
Look, this might sound a little blunt, but it is 100% true. If we don't check the work, our students learn pretty fast that it doesn't really matter. Consistency is everything here. Once they know you're going to review it, they start to see its real value.
And here's the good news. Checking doesn't have to mean you're chained to your desk for hours. Here are 3 super efficient strategies. You could have students do peer checking. That builds collaboration. You could try self-checking with an answer key. That promotes accountability. Or you can do spot checks, which give you a quick pulse on how the class is doing without having to grade every single paper. This gets to a really crucial shift in mindset. We need to move beyond just marking things right or wrong and start providing real feedback. You know, a check mark just says correct, but a quick comment like "revise this step" actually shows them a path to get better. That little note is where the genuine learning clicks into place. And this is how you make homework a powerful moment for the entire class. Just spend 5 minutes going over common errors together. You turn individual struggles into a group learning opportunity. And while you're at it, make sure to appreciate the effort. A simple, "I can see you worked hard on this," can be such a powerful motivator. All right, we have covered all the do's. So now let's do a quick fire round of the biggest don'ts. These are the common traps that can completely undermine your whole homework strategy. Let's just run through these real quick. Giving way too much homework just creates stress. Not checking it regularly tells them it's not important. Ignoring their difficulties is a huge missed teaching opportunity. And please, never ever use homework as a punishment. It creates a negative feeling about learning that is so hard to undo. So I want you to have this little mantra in your back pocket. If you're ever in doubt about an assignment, just ask yourself this question: is this supporting learning or is it just creating stress? Let that be your guide. We've covered a lot of ground today. So as we start to wrap things up, what is the single most important thing to take away from all of this? It really all boils down to these 3 powerful words: assign with a clear purpose, communicate with absolute clarity, and always follow up with meaningful feedback. If you just focus on these 3 pillars, I promise your homework strategy will be completely transformed. And that's really the ultimate goal, isn't it? to shift homework from being just a nightly chore into a powerful tool that actually extends learning way beyond the classroom walls.
So, I'll just leave you with this question to think about. You don't have to overhaul everything all at once. What is one small change you could make tomorrow that could start this transformation for one of your students? Thanks so much for tuning in.